This is the overview page of the software. It kind of tells you what's going on at a glance, so you don't have to, so you know if you have something you need to deal with or what's happening. But basically, like here, orders requiring attention three, that means there's three orders that failed automation for whatever reason or another. We'll go over that here shortly. This here shows the numbers of orders awaiting shipment. So looks like 101 of them placed automatically and three failed. Uh, then the unique number of products sold, the quantity of products sold, the total number of orders, the number of orders that have open returns currently, the value of those open returns. These are the orders awaiting supplier credit. And then the value of the expected credit we're expected to receive, the number of shipped, total number of shipped orders, total number of returned orders, refunded orders, canceled orders. Now, the difference between the refunded and the canceled, so if it never gets shipped, never leaves the warehouse, it's just considered canceled. Nobody's out anything, it's just everything resets. If it's been returned or the order has already been placed with the supplier or anything like that, depending on where it's at with the supplier. Sometimes they'll have to issue a refund. Sometimes they'll be able to cancel it before it gets loaded on the shipping truck. These are the amount of orders with losses. More than likely it had to do with return, or possibly we had to purchase a replacement part or send something to make the order right. This is the total amount that has been paid for channel fees to sell where we're selling, the total amount that's been paid to suppliers for the products that's been sold, the total product cost. Additional costs are like when we have to buy return shipping labels, or there was something that we had to go out of pocket for. The total amount returned, the total amount refunded, the total amount credited and canceled. And this will go back, break down from a lifetime to the last 24 hours last year, and so on. So it kind of gives you a good breakdown. All right, now I'm going to go on to the settings. This tab gives us full control over our pricing settings, trying to allow us to be as competitive as possible. So the first section here allows it to disable channel price updates. So every hour the tool will update pricing with whatever channel or channels it's connected to. So like for Amazon example, we'll use an auto repricer program that'll try and go on and bring prices down so that we can be the lowest, get the buy box, but it won't allow it to take a loss. So it kind of bottoms out there before that happens. But if we had updates going, it would just overwrite the price every hour, defeating the purpose. The next section, the best offer automation, this is for applicable channels, but the tool will calculate product costs, shipping costs, dropship fees, even the fees it's going to be charged on sales tax. The marketplace charges the buyer, as well as any other expense that we'll run into, and then it puts 2% profit on top of that. If the buyer's offer falls inside of that range, then it'll send the offer, but it won't auto accept. So when it's slow sales and stuff like that, you take it, wherever you can get it. And then this one just auto accepts. So if they offer where we're making 4% or more in this case, then it'll just auto accept. The next section is the profit calculation type. This allows us to either base our profits, whatever percent profit that we want to make. It'll base it off the product cost or the order total. So that really makes a difference in the selling price, but the options there. And then this section handles the advertising fees. So maybe some channels you pay for the additional marketing, and eBay has exposure, Bonanza has extra exposure that you can buy like an add-on, and depending on what it is, the fee changes. But this allows you to bake that fee into the selling price while still maintaining profit margins. It just raises the price to match whatever it needs. And then down here, we'll allow it to set individual percentage profit margins based on the product cost. So low dollar items get a higher markup than it would if it's a real expensive. You'll see it drops as it goes down and just kind of bottoms out at 5% there. The block list page is what allows us to block products that could cause us violations or problems on any given marketplace. So it allows us to block it at the marketplace level or globally across all channels. And you can set exactly what SKU you want to block, a keyword phrase in the title, or the brand, and then it'll block all products from that brand, making sure that nothing slips through, even new arrivals. And then here we can, if we don't want to sell something that's 50 cents, 20 cents, whatever, we can set a minimum amount, and then it'll block all products under that price. And this kind of does the same thing. It's just above a certain price that's set. And this is if we sell on a marketplace that requires a specific handling time, this will allow us to block products from suppliers or that we know will have a longer handling time. The brand whitelisting settings are very similar to the block list, but the key difference is you can select which marketplaces you want to utilize it with. So as you know, some marketplaces and brands are real strict about who sells their products on eBay or Amazon or any major marketplace. In this, if it's checked, then it runs every product through the brand listing before it allows it to go through. So when this box is checked, so like let's say we realize, oh, we can't sell that brand anymore, so we uncheck it. If this is set to yes, then it'll end all the active products from that brand on any check channels here. And here I integrated AI so that I send these brands to the AI, and then I have it check if there's known problems with the marketplaces issuing violations or the brands complaining about small sellers and multiple other data points that I look at, and then it gets automatically whitelisted or not. So far that's worked out pretty good. So it's somewhat of a new setting, but it has been working good. Next, this channel sync will, if we're working, like if we're going in here changing on any of the settings or making any major updates to a specific channel or anything, we can disable any updates from happening during that time. That way the tool completely stops syncing with that channel. The inventory settings gives us control over what's going on with the inventory. So some suppliers, they sell their products real quickly, and in those cases we can set like if we set forward as or below as out of stock, whenever the quantity on a specific product reaches this number, it just treats it like it's out of stock, and then it would end it on wherever it's being sold and things like that. This sets the max quantity going to a channel. So where eBay has, strict limits on how much you can list, we set it down to 1. So that way, if the supplier's got 2,000 in stock, it still only sends 1. And then if that 1 sells, then it would relist it based on the auto relist setting below. This sets the handling time for that channel. So if the supplier, like we have one supplier that might ship in 2 days, we can set that to 2 or whatever the case might be, and then it shows on eBay to the buyer how long before the order is expected to ship. There's some suppliers sell new open box or refurbished, depending on what kinds of products you're looking at. Here, it will allow you to set it to where it only allows new products only to come through, or if it allow any and all conditions that are available. This auto relist, so if a product runs out of stock or is sold, this, if it's set to auto relist, it'll automatically put another one back on or maintain that inventory. If it's set to do not relist, then if it once it runs out of stock, it has to be sent back through again as a new listing. The auto resync after disconnect or sync issue, the tool stays in perfect sync with each and every channel at all times. So if something ever happens, like the tool comes disconnected from the channel or whatever the case might be, this tells the tool to resync with whatever's on the channel, and then it'll resync the tool to the channel. If this is set to no, it'll resync your channel to the tool. So that way, if the channel is empty of products, where if you manually disconnect, it'll remove the products. So it would empty the tool of the product. So if it was set to no and you manually disconnected, when the tool connects back, it'll remove everything from the channel. eBay offers global shipping, where basically it's sent to a warehouse in Kentucky. And this setting says if you want to participate your product, if it qualifies in that global shipping program, it doesn't cost any extra to offer the products in that. So we usually go with yes on that. And when we have a website, which every partnership will be building a custom website for, this allows it to automate the syncing between the website and the tool automatically, where it picks the products. I don't have it where it works with other channels, just because you have to be real careful about policy violations. So it's best to, go through and filter out everything before it just automatically starts sending everything over. The ordering settings allows us to control what happens with orders when they come in. So when enabled, it will just automatically send them and place them with the supplier. This setting right here, so when the order comes in, when it's on no delay, it just sends it straight over to the supplier, minimizing the possibility of it going out of stock. If we find that a particular supplier has a lot of cancellations or something, then usually we'd get rid of that supplier anyway. It can be delayed so that the order can be canceled before it has a chance for the buyer to request a cancellation of the order before it's actually sent to the supplier and processed. This one here, hold orders for manual review. So high dollar orders are more susceptible to fraud. So these won't allow those to just automatically be processed. It can be set at any amount, but usually here is where I go. And then require signature delivery. So most payment accounts, whether it's PayPal or some other merchant accounts, they require signature delivery. Some of them's 500, some of them 750, but we just go with the safe side and go with the 500 and up. And then that way, if there's a problem later, it'll be covered. I use AI all throughout this software to perform all kinds of various tasks, but one of them is always creating new titles and descriptions, captivating ones for every new product that comes in. And this kind of sets the personality, adds in some psychology, and really just sets the tone for whatever type of site that is being, the branding of the niche that the company is going into. And we do this for everyone. So that way, there's we'll always have unique products, unique titles, unique descriptions, and stand out, especially like on marketplaces where you have multiple people selling the same product, will always stand out with a unique title and unique content for that product. And now we have the eBay theme. So every partnership gets a unique theme that looks professional, makes the eBay listing stand out, and gives a good warm vibe to the buyers. The channels tab is how I'm able to control what products go where. So basically, there's all kinds of statuses. NQ is products that have been selected to be sent to the channel but haven't actually been picked up and sent over yet. And then active products, ending, out of stock. These are ones that are out of stock. If auto relist is set to yes, they'll come back and auto relist the product if it ever comes back in stock. And then block. So if any of the block list rules pick a product, it shows here. And any blacklisted brands that are not allowed to be sold on that channel will show up here. And then anything that fails to list to the channel for any reason will show up here. Then we have the product sources. In-house is products that are kept on hand or in the warehouse, and then the rest of them are all dropship suppliers. But this is for inventory that can be created via the software. I'll go over that here after a while. And then here, if we're looking for, products in a certain price range, we can do that here. And all the tabs, regardless of what channel it is, are exactly the same. So this one has 143 products that aren't active yet, that can basically be pushed over. This button right here will send the product to that channel. This one will block this specific product, and it'll never show up on the tool again unless it's unblocked. And this button will block all products by this brand, Pop Race. And so here you can see on the active page, these are what's actually active right now, and this button would end it. And then you have the same block buttons. You can see the brands that are not allowed. If you hit this button, it would unblock that brand and allow it to go through, but we don't want to do that right now. So this is our order management section. It really gives us, a full overview of where we're at with every order. And for the new tab here, when automated ordering is turned on like it is right now, generally a new order will come in, and if it passes all the other fraud controls, it'll jump right down here to queued. But if it doesn't, it shows up here, and these are ones that we have to manually review. And either we can approve them by clicking this button, or we can cancel it by clicking this one. It'll give you a estimate of what everything's going to be. Usually this is spot on to the penny, but this will show what was received from the supplier, what we had to pay the marketplace to sell it. In this particular case, it was Amazon. What we expect to pay for shipping costs. The supplier has free shipping on everything, so no drop ship fees, and we don't expect any additional cost to get this product to the user. So the profit is $34.60. Now, this will break down what all is in that order, how many was purchased, how many is currently in stock with the supplier, what our product cost is each, and what it is total. So like in this case, the buyer bought 3, so it's $106.47. This is the each price. And then you can kind of visually see what it is. And the hidden, the app's in security mode right now so that we're not exposing people's private information. Then it'll show the order time and then whether a signature delivery is required or not. So you can edit the order here. I don't want to do it because if I do, it'll show the address. But if you need to edit the address for any reason, you can do so. And if you want to add signature delivery, you can do that as well. And then like here, yeah, this one's over 500, so signature delivery was automatically set to yes. You can also edit the um, orders so that if you have any to refund anything, any additional costs, this allows for pretty much perfect bookkeeping. Um, each supplier in the order will have a section like this where you'll put, well, this will automatically get filled out, the order total. If we ever receive any credits on for that order, it'll go in here. Any special order notes that we need to know will go here. Once tracking's available, it'll pick the shipping method and add the tracking number, and then it'll update wherever it was sold at as well. So here you can see what the product cost for each one is, the quantity that is ordered, and all that. And then, like I said, yeah, here's the one. There's two suppliers in this order, so there's another section for that supplier as well. And in this particular case, one of the orders requires the supplier charges shipping, so it puts the estimate here. Now, once it gets past here and it gets to at least the awaiting shipment and below, it won't be expected anymore. It'll be actual real numbers. Next, we have the attention required grid. This one is the one that shows you when you first log in on the overview that there were 3 orders awaiting uh, attention. So here it'll tell you why. Order requires street address for shipment. The buyer more than likely provided a PO box or some type of address that required that only USPS ships to, and this item's too big, so it flags the order. Um, this one here looks like the customer themselves requested to cancel this order, so it shows up here to allow us to approve that or whatnot. And in this one here, possible fraud detected. Looks like this one was on one of our websites. Buyer attempted to charge 4 different credit cards before approval. So there's the tool searches all kinds of different data points to keep an eye out for fraud. And in this particular case, and it's seeing the amount of the order and things like that, and then the buyer purchased 2 of these, will probably cancel the order and not take that risk. Next is queued orders. This one doesn't really have anything in it because everything's already been placed or awaiting approval. These are all the products that are currently awaiting shipment. So as soon as the supplier ships them, the tool will pick that up, add the tracking number, and it'll automatically move down here to ship. But here we can kind of keep an eye and make sure nothing sits too long. The tool's programmed so that if something's been sitting past the expected handling time, it'll move over here to attention required so we can follow up on it and make sure that it gets out. But yeah, that's about it here. Once an order ships, the tool will pick it up and it'll move down here. Tracking number will be visible, and the tool will constantly be tracking these tracking numbers several times a day. It'll update the status, so if something is picked up as being damaged in transit or lost or any kind of order issue, or it's gone way past the expected delivery date, it'll show up here in attention required so that we can look into it. Outside of that, once this tool shows the product's been delivered, it'll move right down here to the delivered tab. It's pretty much the same data. It just lets us know this order's made it to the customer and we're pretty much good to go with it. Now, let's say somebody contacts the marketplaces or reaches out to us. lets us know, hey, we want to return a product for whatever reason. We can come in here and find the product that they're wanting to return. So let's just say it's this one. They didn't like it. We'll say since one was fulfilled, one was shipped, we can only return one. We'd select a reason for the return, what kind of resolution that we want, and then any notes about it. So if they didn't like it or they didn't like something about it, we can put that in there, and then we track these. So if an item starts to get a lot of returns, we'll just block that product and not deal with it anymore. But once a return is open, it'll come down here to the return requested, and these are all the open returns. So anything, it could be waiting for a supplier. Here it'll show approved. So these are just basically waiting on the customers to send the item back. But you can manage the returns here. So if there's any additional costs, like we had to come out of pocket to send them a label, or we had to send a missing part. Usually the suppliers will handle that, but in some cases, we may have to. It shows any amount we refunded the customer, and then of course the order information itself. And in here, as you can see, there was the RMA number issued. This item was not delivered. Has been returned to the warehouse. It was just an undeliverable product, and then that's it. And then once it's made it through all the stages of the RMA, which is here, once the customer lets us know or provides tracking number for that it's on the way back, it'll move to in transit. Once it's been received from the warehouse, it'll move here. At this point, we can refund the customer either spot, and then once we've refunded the customer, it moves here to awaiting credit if we've not received a refund from the supplier yet. Otherwise, it moves straight to completed. Once it hits completed, it's removed from this list. It'll still be available for the order to look up under the delivered tab, but outside of that, it won't be in our face to have to deal with in some kind of way. I'm going to move down to the management tab. Now I have in the code, I have automation that tries to go and find the right category for every product based on our category tree. But if automation fails for whatever reason and it's not able to get a lock match, it'll appear here. It won't allow it to be pushed to a marketplace or our website or anything like that requires the category until it's matched. So rather than having to go through and do a whole product edit process, I made it where they just show up here. They could easily be clicked on. You'd find put it in the right category, like health and beauty, fragrances, women's fragrances, and click update. It's removed from the list, it's assigned to a category, and you can just go right on through. This one, the missing ASINs, is for exactly that. If we're selling on Amazon, I have a automation tool that I built that will go through and try and automatically match ASINs to products, but Amazon's ASINs are really, really finicky, so the tool is really tight and it doesn't match all products. Like Amazon might be selling the same product but in a different color, or the Amazon might be selling something and it comes with 2 or 3 of them instead of just one. There's all kinds of various where the product might be the same, but there's just small minor mismatches. So if the automation can't confirm that it's the correct match, it'll show up here. Basically, what we do is we click the edit button. It'll pull all the products that it thinks it might be from Amazon, and then we just go through and match, make sure it's the right product, right size, right all that. So it looks like we got a perfect match right here, Elizabeth Taylor. So I would click select, it would put the ASIN in there, and then I'd click update. and that's it. It goes on to the next product. So it makes it really easy to go through and assign correct ASINs to everything that failed automation. Now, this is for inventory that's on hand to be able to create products into the system. Some of the partners we find a lot of good deals as we're drop shipping, or we find items that sell really good. So in some cases, we'll buy, large quantities of it, and then we can put it in this system and send it wherever. And then the system will keep track of the inventory from there. But this allows you to fill out this top part as much as possible, and then you can click this use AI description, and it'll generate the description based on the AI personality automatically. But it's a pretty extensive form, and it's also mobile friendly. And when you're using your phone or tablet, you can take a photo right from your device as you're listing, so it makes it real easy to add products. And then you'd select a category same way you would on anything else and go with it. Next, we have the Manage Suppliers tab. Anytime we add new suppliers to the system, this is where we go to activate it, store the credentials for that supplier. That makes it possible to get inventory, place orders, get tracking, and things like that. It'll tell how many products are active right now for that supplier at any given time. And that's really about it for that. And this is where I can add new suppliers to the system. So I would click this to add a new one. It's a very minimal amount of information. And then once I create the product, then I can go through and edit it. So here I made it where for the category matching, the automation that I do, this restricts the category automation for putting it in any other category but ones that are found inside of here. If it's not checked, it won't allow that to miscategorize. And then the rest of these are just basic settings and information on the supplier itself, the handling time. This has the the default preferences basically, and then it gets pretty extensive. There's a lot of fields. These are the blocking preferences, so I can block it at the supplier level before it even comes in. And this is the mapping section. So when I get a file, I basically have to map all the fields in the file to these columns, at least the ones that are available. And if not, other systems fill in the gaps. Some of the partnerships grow so large that it takes multiple people to manage orders and customers and returns or all the other various aspects. So here we can create user accounts that restrict users to various things. So that way we can safely keep information that we don't want them to access. And then finally, we have the credit card section. Now, credit cards that we put here is what is used to place orders with the supplier. So whenever orders place, it tries these cards. If there's a secondary card on file and the primary card fails for whatever reason, it'll send it back through again and try with the secondary card. If both those fail, then the order would just go to the attention required section and let you know that payment had failed, and then you can edit the credit card and then send the order back through.